Hi, I recently made a video showing a 1960s vintage Beatles scrapbook, and one of my viewers, Christine, said that she really enjoyed it and she was wanting to know if I had any 1960s vintage Beatles magazines in my collection. And I have a whole box here of Beatles related magazines. Most of them, though, I have to tell you, 95% of them are not vintage 60s originals, but I do have some in here. So let's go through this and see what we can look at. Now, there's all kinds of stuff here. Well, before I get to the actual magazines, I mean, I have stuff like this, which is Beatle fan magazines, like Good Day Sunshine. It's funny, you know, I don't have all of them. You would think as a fan I would have all the issues, but I really don't. So here's a few fan magazines that I have. Good Day Sunshine. And I see I got some of these 3 to a bag. Everything that I get goes right in the bag, you know. I try to preserve everything right away. Good Day Sunshine. Alright, that, of course, it's a great magazine for Beatles fans called Beatle Fan. And I'm noticing, look what happens. See the bottoms of these? That's why when you put them in a box, you have to really have cardboard in the back. Otherwise, they just curl, slide on the bottom of the box. So even though they're in plastic bags, there are a lot here. I don't know how many people want to see all these. I don't think I got them all in here. Whatever issues of Beatle Fan magazine I have, and I should really have all of them, shouldn't I? But I don't. A little annoying about that bend. Cardboard backing. Oh, I have more Beatle Fan magazines. Well, I have some here that are loose. So let me get through the fan magazines first. There's another Beatle Fan. Covers are worth seeing, right? I'll go through them fast. Beatle Fan. Very good fan magazine. Harrison, Cloud 9, when the new album came out. You know, you can't have everything, can you? There's so much stuff to collect. McCartney around the world when he was touring for the first time in a long time, and Ringo. There's that movie, John and Yoko, A Love Story. Yeah, didn't like that movie much. What do we got here? McCartney tour set. Here's an issue of the 910 magazine. Here's a Strawberry Fields Forever magazine. I want to get to the real cream of the crop with the, you know, the regular, more vintage magazines. As I look at one more Strawberry Fields Forever. This is the Eric Clapton and George Harrison tour for 1991. Too bad George didn't tour a lot more than that. And here's another Good Day Sunshine with Paul on the cover. Alright, so we're done with that. Well, what I got in the front here is, I guess, some tributes to George when he passed. His People magazine. We lost George in 2001. And Time magazine, dedicated to George from when he passed away in 2001. And again, like the bottoms here, I'm noticing, even though I'm taking good care of these, putting them in the box in plastic, the bottoms do tend to get a little bent if you don't have cardboard backing, so I gotta look into that. It's not too late. Here's an Us magazine with Paul and Linda. You know, back in the day, I used to collect everything. If there was a magazine on the stand with one of the Beatles together or apart, I would just buy it instantaneously, you know. And I got out of that for many years, you know, because you can't have everything. And where do you draw the line, right? So I stopped that for many years, and now it just so happens I'm kind of back into it again. So I'm more likely to buy a new magazine. George. I'm more likely to buy a new magazine today. You know, I go through phases. Times where I gotta have everything. Times where I figure, the heck with it, I don't need to have everything. Alright, here's this. I think I have a copy of this in better condition. This is got some writing on it. It's the New York Magazine, John's death. And then you'll find magazines like this, which are... they're not really originals, you know. They're reissues. See, Valuable Beatles Gold Leaf series. They put these out in the 70s. But don't worry, if you hang on, I know there's going to be some vintage 60s stuff here that I did pick up. Here's 16 magazine, a loving tribute to John. There's going to be a lot of tribute John magazines here. John Lennon Beatles Memory Book. I remember when this came out, Paul McCartney Dead, The Great Hoax. Well, again, you can't see the cover because it's kind of a reissue with a gold leaf collector series. Here's a Rock Scene magazine where I guess it says John and Yoko Studio Pics, where you see them in the studio doing Double Fantasy. Here's a Crawdaddy magazine. This is from 1977. Young George on the cover. I think that's a pretty interesting magazine. A lot of these are going to be from the 70s. I don't know why I have this. Oh, Paul and his wife Linda. Hold on, let me just go through this a little bit. Yeah, these are various magazines where the Beatles are not on the cover, but there's an article inside about them, perhaps. A lot of people who are around my age remember this series that came out in the 70s, Welcome Back Beatles. They had a few volumes of this in the 70s, you know, playing on the nostalgia craze. Here's a magazine, John Lennon and the Beatles, a special tribute. Okay, I finally came across one of the original 60s magazines. This is an original one, Meet the Beatles. Photos from their personal album. And I know Christine in particular liked to look at the insides. The price here, 35 cents. I think a magazine's up to $10 now. Some of them are. Let's bring the camera. Hold on a minute. I'll figure a way to do this. Let's bring the camera down for this. Oh, okay. Meet the Beatles. Photos for the person. A date with the Beatles. Oop. This is in pretty good condition. I don't want to wreck it just by making a video here. Beatle background. Riding their go-karts. So yeah, this is one of the... There's Little Richard. One of the early 1960s magazines I have. Picked up a few over the years. to business here. So yeah, this one's in pretty good shape. See, this is a good example. As I say, I would buy magazines all the time. I bought a lot of these, you know, in the 70s and 1980s, and I'd pack them away in plastic like this, look at them once, put them here, put them in the box, put the box in a closet in the back. And, you know, for a long time I figured, what's the point of buying magazines? Because I've got so many of them already, as you can see. And it's not really, here's another Welcome Back Beatles. There's not really much point. I mean, how can you have it with them? Like, I would go out and I would see something like this, CD review. They're talking about reviewing CDs, and there's a special on Paul McCartney. Just because he's on the cover, I'd buy the magazine. You know, I'd plunk down. Well, this was from 1990. I'd plunk down $2.95, and I'd buy it. And you never look at them again. That's why it's good to have them here on the video for posterity. Anyway, Beatles Forever. At least I'm getting some kind of usage out of these. Here we go again. Here's the Welcome Back Beatles. This is the one I remember the most in the 1970s. Right? Welcome Back Beatles, 1977. The cost of this, $1.50. Okay, here's People Magazine on Yoko. How was she holding up after John passed away? You know, not the happiest subjects. Okay, High Times with the Beatles. How the Beatles turned on the world. You know, again, this is me from 1979. You know, the height of my Beatle fandom when I first started. I really got into the Beatles around 1975, 76. And in the 70s was really when I got into them. Oh, look what I found here. Elvis, International Forum. So I also have some Elvis stuff here. Here's Hit Parader from 1977 with the Beatles. Beatlemania, Hit Parader special, I guess. I don't know. What's this? I don't know. This is another one. Comeback Beatles. It's got, this thing opens into a poster apparently. Okay, this is very important. This was an interview with Paul, musician, player, and listener from 1980 when his McCartney 2 album came out. You may remember, some of you, there's an album called The McCartney Interview from 1980. Well, that's the audio from this print interview. This is what how Paul looks when he's being interviewed on that album. This is where it comes from, musician, player, and listener. Here's another one, musician. Here's George Harrison. I had to pick this one up. This is probably from 1987. Yeah. George Harrison, the quiet Beatle, finally talks about everything. I don't know why I don't have all these Welcome Back Beatles 70s magazines together. I got them all separate. I mean, I would buy everything, you know. These days, honestly, I pass all this stuff up. There's some that I do buy. I mean, you'll see in my videos, I'll show them to you. The Lennon tribute. I don't know what that is. You know, now, you know, one thing is, when John died, the crazy thing was, when John died, the next day, as a real diehard Beatle fan, I mean, I was devastated about Lennon's death, but yet as a collector and a fan, I had to do what I knew how to do. I had to keep on buying the magazine. So I went out the next day, next week, and bought all of these tribute magazines and put them right in plastic. These are as good as new. I mean, I never looked at them again, really. Princess Diana. Like stuff like this, for example, you know, Newsweek. You know, there's John on Newsweek. I mean, this is from December 1980, right after he died. I mean, this thing is right off the newsstand, never touched, right into a bag. You know, and the thing was, yeah, it was such a weird feeling that John had just been killed, and yet I had to go around and, like, eagerly keep collecting magazines to chronicle it. There's a People Magazine cover, tribute to John. You know, because it's just weird. You've been a collector and a fan for so long, and now you're collecting under the most horrible circumstances, but yet you had to do it. I always like this cover, John's Last Songs. You know, there's a picture of them from the Double Fantasy sessions. You don't get to see many pictures of that these days anyway. Maybe they'll come up with something. There's another tribute to John Lennon and the Beatles. Here's a National Lampoon's 1977. There's a lot of funny stuff in here about the Beatles, making fun of the Beatles and teasing them. So that's pretty funny. Now I got a lot of extras. Here's an extra. I mean, in some cases I buy 2 or 3 of these, you know. Here's a Relics magazine, John and Yoko. Here's an Us magazine from John and Yoko. And now, look what I found. I found some more vintage Beatles. Christina, you still there? Hello? Christina, anybody tune out yet? Well, I've got some more quite a few original Beatles magazines here. And one of my favorite ones is this one. That's an original 60s Beatles magazine. I'm going to try to show this one too. This is a goodie. So we're going to do the same routine where I'm going to take this out of the sleeve. I'm going to put it down here. And we're going to come around and check it out. 63 ways to meet a Beatle. Giant 3-page fold-out color pinup. So let's see. Let's see if I can still get to that pinup. What it's like to love a Beatle. The girl who stopped Beatle Paul's marriage. Jane Asher picture. All this gossipy stuff. Is Ringo taken by Anne Margaret? Yesterday it was Elvis, today it's Ringo. Want to know what Anne Margaret has that you don't? Then read this story. Anyway. Well, there's gossip and stuff, right? The first movie, A Hard Day's Night. I remember these pictures. I don't remember seeing these anywhere else. There's a picture seen in A Hard Day's Night where they're climbing over a wall. Here's a picture of the crew members, like, after they jumped over the wall. Like, this guy trying to save Ringo, like, trying to help him. Here's the other Beatles jumping over the wall. Some good outtake pictures here. Where's the poster? It's up there. It is. Okay, here's the poster. Want to see the poster? This is it, your passport to Beatle heaven. A giant 3-page color pinup. Woohoo! Well, it's going to be hard to do this, folks. We'll try it. Come on, for the cameras. Let's go. There it is. There it is, your giant Beatles pinup. Still intact in the magazine. Yep. Okay, now there's no way that I can look at the rest of this, so I'm going to take a pause here. Hope you're not getting dizzy from all these camera tricks. This is going to be another very long video, I can see, as I put this back in the magazine. And I don't think I really have time to go through the insides of all these Beatles magazines. Here's one, Beatle Guitar Hits. This is an original. New Beatle Guitar Hits. So that's an original magazine. Here's another one. 50 hit songs recorded by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. This is vintage from the era. Here's an original one. Teen Scrapbook. Teen Scrapbook with the Beatles. And Soupy Sales shows you how to do the ape. If you remember Soupy Sales, like me, then you're really old. Here we go. For teens only. Okay, the Beatles original 60s magazine. Here you go. There's a record riot over here. 60 smash songs for only $2 and change. And look what I found. Another Welcome Back Beatles book. Magazine. Welcome Back Beatles Magazine. Yep. The Beatles story. Hey, I doubt very much that Adam Lee has made it this far. Adam 80s Heaven. Sorry, Adam. But Adam, if you're watching, here's the magazine from the period where George was kind of Madonna's mentor. Madonna's Beatle boss. That's for you, Adam, if you ever get this far. I can't imagine that you are, but I don't know. This is all kinds of magazines. I'm going to go through these quickly because I'm running out of time here. You know, more John Lennon stuff. Time Magazine, The Day the Music Died, 1980. I'm not going to show this one that shows John's Killer on the cover. Here's a better copy of that earlier New York magazine in the plastic that I knew I had a better copy. And more John Lennon tributes. It was a John Lennon tribute magazine from 1980. You know, I got on the newsstand, the candy store, anywhere they had magazines, and you just collected them all. But it was so surreal. You know, John was gone, and here you were buying magazines. Now, the last item I'm going to show, and for all you kids out there, be careful. This is not off limits. It's a Playboy magazine, but of course, I'm not interested in anything else other than business, you know. This is Ringo's wife, Barbara Bach. And in the same issue is the John Lennon and Yoko Ono Playboy. There it is. An exclusive interview with John and Yoko. That's it. That's the 1980 Playboy interview. So, I didn't have that many 1960s magazines, sorry. But, and for all you people here that don't like Beatles videos, that's the flavor of this channel. You know, of course you're not probably listening to this because you're not watching the video, and if you're watching it, you didn't make it this far. Anyway, cheers, folks.